Welcome to Big Blend Radio, where we celebrate variety and how it adds spice to quality of life. So welcome, everyone. You know, every fourth Sunday, we have Joey Stuckey on our Music Talks show. Joey's been on our show for years, and he's an incredible musician. He's a producer. He's just an incredible human being. He's an educator. He's also the music ambassador of Macon, Georgia, which is the Southern rock capital of America. He just is an incredible human being, and he was on our Big Daily Blend podcast every fourth Sunday, still is, but we said, well, we should just call this Music Talks with Joey Stuckey. However, today is a special day, and over the last few years, we have celebrated what is his Alive Day, and he's got a special concert coming up in Macon, Georgia. He's going to give us a little overview about Alive Day, and he has a special guest with us today. Stay tuned. Hey, Joey.
Hey, my friend. How are you?
Doing good, and even better that you're here. So how are you doing? Are you excited about Alive Day?
Yeah, absolutely. You know, we do this, we've done it almost every year since 2017. And we did it, even when during the pandemic, we did it like a little Facebook something. So we've done it every year. As pretty much, since we started in 2017. And, Joey Stuckey Alive Day is the day that I beat the brain tumor that was supposed to take my life as a child. Now, the brain tumor did leave me blind and with some other health challenges, but everybody thought that I wouldn't survive. And if I did, I wouldn't walk or talk. And so that day was a pretty important day in my life. And my parents were absolutely brilliant. This happened to me when I was about 18 months old. But instead of making it a day of fear or this is the day you almost died, they reframed it as this is the day you beat the odds, this is the day you lived. And that's a pretty important distinction. So in 2017, I thought, we've celebrated this like a second birthday kind of quietly my whole life with my parents and my wife and everything. And my parents always raised me that you should always take time to celebrate whenever you can. But I thought, gosh, more people need to take a moment to celebrate their triumphs. And that we need to take more time to re-engage with each other as neighbors and communities. And wouldn't it be great to have a free concert where we can just come together and revel in the joy of life through music? So that's what we did. And it was recognized by the city as an official day of celebration, which I really appreciate. It takes place on September 29th. That's actually a live day. But this year, the concert will be on October 4th. And I'm just thrilled as I can be. This year is a little bit different. Every year we've done something a little bit different. And every year has been a really interesting journey and had so many different vibes and sounds and creative people participating this year. And interestingly, I planned these things, but they always evolve in ways I don't anticipate. And this year is all acoustic music. So it's in a nice venue that really does acoustic music well. And it just happens that we're all doing sort of acoustic guitar and vocal. My buddy Tom Rule's going to play piano. He's an instrumentalist, so he'll play his instrumental compositions. And then I will come on with my friend Charles Arnold, who's going to add some percussion to my acoustic guitar performance. And then my very great and dear friend Diane Durrett is bringing some special people with her. So let's bring her into the conversation. Welcome, Diane.
Hey, everybody.
Hey, welcome.
Diane is an absolute, and Lisa, you know that I don't say this lightly. She is one of the greatest singers that I've ever had the privilege of working with and knowing. And she does a lot of other things besides. She's a producer and a guitar player and all. Just recently.
And a limo.
Yes.
Yeah.
Just recently was doing a narration for an audiobook, I understand. So she does all kinds of different things. But this year she's coming down to perform for Joey Stuckey Alive Day, and I'm so excited. And she's bringing two other Georgia legends with her. And Diane, I'll let you kind of tell us a little bit about the special sort of formation you have that we're going to bring for Joey Stuckey Alive Day.
Yeah. So first of all, I just want to say, Lisa, I totally agree with everything you said about Joey being a wonderful human being as well as so talented. I'm so happy that I can be a part of celebrating your life and being alive and all the joys that we have in our lives. I think it's a wonderful thing, what you're doing. So it just makes me happy to be a part of it.
I appreciate you, my friend.
Yeah. And who I'm bringing is Caroline Aiken, who many people probably know in Macon. She's played many, many years and has helped foster the talents of the Indigo Girls and Sean Mullins. And she's real strong in the acoustic scene, really nationally and internationally. And Liz Melendez, who is a killer blues guitar player, she's originally from New Mexico, so she's kind of got that Santana thing going on some, and also Stevie Ray Vaughan, that style. And we sing 3-part harmony on a lot of songs. So, doing mostly original music because we're all singer-songwriters. So that's going to be kind of what we're bringing, and hopefully bringing the good vibes, and happy that you're doing just kind of thinking of being family friendly and just a good time for everybody.
Yeah, the thing about this is, I mean, you are 3 legendary Georgia treasures, and it's so cool to see you guys together in such a nice format and supporting each other and performing together and bringing all these different sounds together in a cohesive sort of way. I'm really excited about that, and we wanted to make you guys are our featured artists for the evening. And the show lasts 3 hours roughly, and everybody's doing roughly a 45-minute to 60-minute set, just somewhere in that ballpark. And it's really exciting to me that we're able to, through the gift of our sponsors, we're able to offer this concert totally free, which is awesome, because we want people to be able to come out and enjoy things, because everything's a price these days.
Yeah, right.
Starbucks coffee is getting too expensive.
I hear
but,
you.
But everything's a price these days. It's so cool that we're able to bring out and rent the venues and get all this stuff together. And Diane, are you going to play some of your tunes from your last album? Talk about this last album, but I guess that was last year.
Yeah, it came out last year. I will be playing a couple of those songs. And well, I'm definitely going to be playing a song called All Is Well, because I really think it's appropriate for the day.
Absolutely.
And 3-part harmony on that, but it was actually inspired by my grandmother. She would always say, even though she was going through the most difficult times, she would try to speak that positive, all is well, all is well. She knew a lot about that because my mother, who was her only child, was the first liver transplant patient at Emory University Hospital. She made medical history by surviving the first transplant back in the 1980s. And there was definitely a lot of healing that went along with that. Because of that, we had 10 extra years with her. So, I just understand so much how speaking positive and trying to stay positive during the difficult times. So I definitely want to be singing that song, All Is Well.
That's so exciting. Yeah. I can't wait to hear it. That's great.
Yeah. So, yeah, I'm excited about that. And, yeah.
Are you an only child, Diane?
No. I have a brother who's about 4 years older than me, and just enough to give me some good noogies. Yeah, just old enough to where he's got his hand held out and I'm swinging, and I never can hit him, like my arms are swinging.
That's funny.
Well,
that is so funny.
I was an only child, and I thought, people said, "You're an only child." I said, "Lord, can you imagine more than one of me?" I was only child, and so it's. I know what that's like, especially to be a sick child that has a lot of healing to go through. So that's exactly why we have this day, because I spent 4 months in ICU as a little kid. And then for a long time people was like, "Oh, when did you start playing music?" Like 3 or 4. I was like, "No, like 17 or 18," because I was really too sick to do anything but focus on survival, when I was at school age and stuff like that. But music has always been, and it sounds like it's the same in your family, it's always been a cornerstone of my well-being. And it's, and I'll never, I mean, I was born way after the Beatles broke up, but my first real album that I can remember my mom giving me was a Beatles record. And when I didn't feel well, man, I played that sucker.
Yeah.
But I'll tell you, if you want to see something funny, there's 2 things that blind people, at least this blind person does, that's pretty funny. Chasing Brussels sprouts on a plate, because that is some quality entertainment.
Yeah, right.
And a blind guy trying to find the right song on the record.
Oh yeah.
I had so many copies of Michael Jackson's Thriller album because I scratched it up so bad because I couldn't see what I was doing. I kept trying to skip to my favorite song, and it was the whole thing. But anyway, I wore that poor Beatles record out too. But I how did this idea of you and Liz and Caroline coming together in this formation happen? Because that's such a unique idea.
Yeah, well, Caroline and I had sung together for many years, just a while back with Donna Hopkins. We used to do a thing called Women of Rockin' the Round, and it was similar to this. And it just kind of happened organically where Liz was playing a lot with me and my band Soul Sugar. Yeah, so she was playing guitar, and of course, Caroline and I knew each other, so it just kind of happened organically where we just started wanting to do a little bit more singing together, so you have the 3-part harmony. So I think it was just that, being friends and getting together.
I love it. And the 3-part harmony is so cool. I mean, that is,
Yeah.
I've rarely found, this sounds terrible, but I rarely let people sing with me that I've had in my various bands, because to do it well and also play your bass or play your drums or play whatever is really a talent. And
Yeah.
I've only had one band member in my entire career that could sing, and he's actually like a chorus teacher, so he could like sing and play his instrument and really, really hold it together. And that was just for 2 people. To find 3 people that can do it, even more rare.
I can't even
totally
sing
agree.
and play at the same time. I have to only sing. I can't play guitar at the same time without messing up. Are you kidding me? It's out. No, but I think the harmonies, and I love the name Soul Sugar. I have to say that is one of the coolest names, because I always think of like, the song Soul Shine and everything. And that just always makes me feel good hearing Soul Shine. But now Soul Sugar, I'm like, ooh, we could be warm and sweet and soulful and groovy and happy and sticky. We want to be sticky. It's sticky in the Stuckey verse, right, Joey?
There you go.
All those bananas.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love that.
That's the kind of vibe that my band puts out too. It's real positive. That's it's a real positive thing, and we've played Macon quite a bit over the years. I used to do quite a few shows with Wet Willie and played with Chuck Leavell there, and so yeah, I've been to Macon quite a bit. I love it. I also used to play at the the Georgia Music Hall of Fame quite a bit.
You're coming back to home territory.
Yeah, absolutely.
I see. I like the whole idea of Wet Willie and Soul Sugar getting together. That sounds good. That sounds like a good, I don't know. It feels like that's going to be like a song too. But I think it's great when you talk about the Hall of Fame. I think there's something to be said about, the musicians that Joey's bringing into a live day and has done over the years. You can already tell it's such a special family friendly event like we're talking about. It's clean and, but wait, see Joey later. No, I'm kidding. But it's this positive thing. So the people that are there are all about positivity, inspiration, and healing and moving forward, right? And feeling good, period. But there's this side of, Macon when you talk about the Hall of Fame. And I feel like even though it's not there, which I'm bummed about, I've not been to it and it's not there now. And I know Joey's, you've had some connections in that, but I feel like you're in what you're doing with a live day. Obviously it's, so it's like your other birthday. You get to have 2 birthdays, which is cool. It's the opposite of American Pie, that song, right? It's not the day the music dies, the day the music kept going. And I feel like the Hall of Fame may not be there, but you're keeping that spirit moving forward, even if people are not living in Macon or from Macon. I don't know. It's just bringing unity together. And that in a way is its own Hall of Fame.
Yeah, absolutely. And the thing that's so exciting to me is I have not once asked somebody, well, I'm very careful who I ask to participate, first of all. But I've never had anyone perform that did not totally understand the day, and whether they were playing heavy metal or they were playing country or they were doing hip hop or whatever it was, they've all understood the day and its purpose and were totally down with it. So that's been a real privilege and a blessing and I've had everybody play, from bands that were just getting formed to seasoned professionals, and it's always a great joy. And, sometimes they're, I mean, one of the bands I met, they became clients of mine, but I met them playing Smith's Old Bar, and we met and became friends in about 5 minutes backstage when they were loading on, I was loading off. Diane, you may remember that room, how
Yeah.
you got to get in and you got to get out. I mean,
Yeah.
But it's always been such a cool vibe, and I'm so excited. I'm so appreciative of Diane's time and her talent. And I know, Diane, you've got a limited amount of time with us today, so if you need to run, we can let you go. But thank you so much for all you've done, and I cannot wait to see you on a live day.
Well, I'm really looking forward to it. And Lisa, thanks for having me on your podcast. And Joey, we will see you soon.
All right, my
Ooh.
friend.
Diane, before you roll, what is the best website? I mean, we've got a great Spotify list of the musicians that Joey's put together. It's linked in the episode notes, everyone. Also go to joeystuckey.com to learn more about Alive Day. And Joey, he's got a new website for his birthday. But also, what is the best website for folks or best place for people to connect with you?
Definitely my website is dianedurrett.com. So it's Diane.
And Diane is a good name because that's my middle name. So we're
All right.
got some sisterhood going on with that,
Okay.
sticky sugar soul going on. Thank you so much, Diane. It's been a real pleasure.
Thanks a lot. See y'all later.
All right. All right. Very cool. I like that you've got some sweetness going on in the Stuckey verse, Joey. I love that.
Absolutely.
And I love harmonies. I've done a lot of harmony work, and it is a true joy when it's mastered. And it comes together, and you almost get, when it all comes together, there's like, oh my God, it's happening. And then you're not allowed to think about it because you're going to screw it up. Right.
Yeah, absolutely.
Doesn't that make, you know what I mean? Then you stop and you're like, oh, it's us doing it, not somebody else, but when it happens, it's magic, man.
Yeah, it really is magic. And there's an interesting thing. I mean, so to do it well, two things have to happen. First of all, whoever's got the melody has to stay within that melody. I have a real gift of improvisation, which is why I sort of focus on genres like blues and jazz, where improvisation is a prized ability, because I don't really want anyone to see the same show twice. I really want them, not that we won't be playing some of the same songs, but if you come Monday night and you come Friday night, I want you to have different experiences and a reason to come back. So I have, within the framework of what I do, within a certain sort of formalized framework, I leave a lot of room for improvisation. And I have little cues that I give the band that says, I'm going to take an extra guitar solo, or I'm going to do something, or, whatever. So what it means is, if you have someone that can really sing harmony with you, it's a gift, but it's also, you gotta stay in your lane. You can't just go all over the place and be crazy and do a lot of improvising, because if you do, it's the other person's not going to be able to keep up. And then it's really harder to be the backup singer, in my mind, or not necessarily backup singer. I guess that's not right, but the harmony singer. It's really harder to be the harmony singer, because that really requires a real knowledge of your own part and then what the other people are doing around you. So it's really a challenge.
I was going to say, a lot of backup singers are the harmony people.
Oh, yeah.
The backup singers, I think, are often forgotten about, and some of them are like, they do the harmonies, like the McBroom sisters for Pink Floyd, and they're just, I can't even.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, they're soul and ethereal and down low, and they get a little grit and dirt in there too, but they do this angelic thing. I'm like, every time I'm just like, they are like these angel beings.
Yeah.
But then they can just bust out with, like, some of them, I'm going to say it, like, some of these backup singers are better than the main performer, the main singers.
That's true. I mean, Tina Turner started as a backup singer. Sheryl Crow started as a backup singer.
Yeah. From Michael Jackson, we're back to him again.
Yeah. So clearly, they have mad skills, and being able to lay back in that pocket and do the harmonies. I mean, it really is a tough job. So this is really exciting. I mean, this is a really exciting Alive Day. We've had a lot of different people over the years, and I treasure every single one of them. But having Diane and Liz and Caroline is a real big deal for us, because the artists don't perform for free. We would never ask that of them, because I'm an artist, and that's not right. So the exciting thing was that this year, because of the sponsorships we had a little bit more money in the pot to be able to pay some of these legends to come down and perform. And so, it's everybody's, the very first Alive Day, we couldn't pay anybody because there was no money. But ever since then, we've always paid our artists. And every year, I am so thankful that I've had a little bit bigger budget every year, a little bit bigger budget, because the success of one makes it a little easier to get the sponsors the next year, because people talk about what a great time they had. So as a sponsor, you get all kinds. We do TV ads, we do radio ads, we do Facebook ads, all that kind of stuff. Anyway, it's exciting that we're moving even further into being able to bring diverse talent. And, Diane and Caroline, they all live about 2 hours away. I mean, that's a pretty long way to travel, come down, and so it's really exciting.
I think it's awesome too because, and I think your sponsorship's going up. I mean, last year we had hurricanes, remember?
Oh yeah,
And hurricanes, and remember you and I had just recorded a show and went, we need to re-record that one.
yeah,
And I'd recorded a show with friends right as they were getting flooded during the hurricane. It was insane what
yeah. I
happened.
remember.
You and I were like, okay, do you have electricity? And it was crazy as we were all doing stuff. But so your live day and also through COVID was not fun for a live day.
Yeah,
So I think this year everybody, and I think our country, and when we think of when the country is feeling at a loss
yeah,
and maybe divided,
yeah,
it is divided. Let's just not beat around the bush. The actual thing is music and these kinds of events remind people to unite and
yeah,
to look at the positive and also understand like the actual gift of life. And we sometimes just forget the importance of a single life and what a person's life does for the people they're connected with. And it goes the other way around. So I think what you're doing with a live day, it's big that you're on this planet, and we're also glad you are here. But what you're doing with a live day is reminding us all to be grateful that we're alive today, no
yeah.
matter what we're
And
going
every
through.
That's true. And every day, really is a gift. There are days it's hard to remember that. I'm not going to say that I'm
Oh
perfect.
yeah, we're all bad at
There
that.
there are days you're like, oh my
Yeah.
gosh, for real.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I mean, but every day really is a gift, and it's sometimes difficult to remember that. If you take, I mean, if you take your life as a whole, the thing that makes me the most happy is being around people that love music and value it and cherish it for the gift that it is. And so that's why a live day is so much fun for me. And I should say we've said it earlier in the show, but I should just reiterate it's October 4th, which is a Saturday. It's doors at 5:30, music from 6 to 9. So there's plenty of time to grab a quick bite to eat, head on down to the show, stay for a couple hours, and then go out if you want to go out to a movie or go do something else, or even get home and tucked into bed nice and cozy before it gets too late. I'm starting to be one of those people.
I know.
Yeah,
I'm with you. I
but
don't know what
it's good.
happened.
It's so weird. We used
Yeah.
to stay up till 3 or 4 in the morning, and just, it was crazy. Your dates would start about 6 o'clock and they'd end about 2 in the morning, and you just had all the, but not anymore. I've gotten. I mean, I will stay out late if I have to, but it's rarely something I choose now.
I want my pizza. I do want to give everyone, we're going to talk a little bit more about the musicians coming on the show at the concert itself. Every time I say show, it's like, no, not the podcast. But I wanted to give a shout out to the Alive Day sponsors, and yell at me because I know things may have updated from what I have, but I see it's 13 WMAZ. Am I saying that right? Or is it
That's
1
right.
3? Okay. The Creek. What's the Creek?
The
Who's
Creek
the
is
Creek?
one of our local radio stations. It's a real treasure. They're really involved in the community, which is why I always go to them for advertising. The live day, and they're a sponsor as well. So it's one of the best ways to get our message out to the local community. They're really involved. And they're very much an independent station. They're not programmed by a conglomeration or anything like that. So, real radio the way it's supposed to be.
And that's 13 WMAZ. Is that also radio?
It's TV. That's our TV station here. That's the biggest station in the market, and they have always been such supporters of mine. And I've been going on their TV station since I was 20, doing music stuff. So we've known each other quite a while, and they're always very supportive, which is I really appreciate this.
Now you've got the Macon Arts Alliance. Now we got to know
Yes.
about them. We're going to have to come and check this out when we come
Yeah,
back their
yeah.
way.
Macon Arts Alliance does a lot of programming. They have some funding that they are able to help artists with special projects. They also support through promotion different projects and different artists, and everything from visual medium to music. So it really is an arts alliance, and they're one of the reasons, because the venue that we're holding this in, which is the Mill Creek Arts Center, that venue is part of the Macon Arts Alliance. So they were able to really help me with that. That's one of the reasons. That's one of the reasons our budget got to expand a little bit this year, because Macon Arts was able to help so much with the venue.
Now there's Shadow Sound Studio. Now I wonder who that could be,
That's
Joey.
little me.
Yeah, it is. Joey's
That's me.
sponsoring his party.
Well,
Yeah.
it's true. We one day maybe we'll make it. One day maybe we'll be funded 100% by sponsors. But so far, I usually get about 70% funded, and then I make up the difference. So it is something that but I don't mind putting my money where my mouth is. So
Well, no, I love it. And I love seeing you doing so much on social media. I know you've had some interns help you, which is fantastic.
oh
And
yes,
they're
the
learning
intern.
through you. I mean, interns have got to learn. It's like the College of Knowledge at Joey's place, you know. And just being in that building, I love your studio where you are,
Oh,
the
thank you.
recording studio. I love that building. And I just cherish, people who embrace old buildings, okay?
Oh
Because
yes,
it's like somebody built that. And
yeah,
back in the day, we built really good things,
yeah,
and we crafted really good furniture back in the day. And I know there's people today who do it too, but you know what I mean. That
yes,
your downtown is beautiful. In fact, we
it
did a
is.
Main Street show, and Jeff Spears, a food writer, did a whole thing about Main Street, Macon, Georgia. And I'm like, yeah,
Oh wow.
there's a piano being played. Yeah, you were in England again or something. You were off somewhere else. And otherwise I would have been like, Joey, you get your butt ski on here, but you were traveling you were in Savannah doing your things in Savannah. Anyway, so I was like, did you see the piano? He's like, no. And I'm like, oh, come on now. Because you got the piano down in the middle of the street, right? Am I remembering something wrong? I thought there was
No,
a
that's right.
piano.
It's still it's there. Yeah, absolutely. Right in the
See,
middle of
I
the
thought
street.
that was super cool. And I want to come back just to do I think Nancy and I need to do a story on Macon. So when we come back, which is, it's soon, Joey, we're coming. We always do our 4 weeks or so in Peachtree City, which is very near Stuckyville,
Yeah.
you know. So we're going to have to do that. So anyway, so the Macon Arts Alliance is ticked off on my little schedule there. Of course, we got to go to Shadow Sound Studio, and there's a cat that has a name, Shadow.
My absolute he is such a blessing, this little cat. Somebody spotted him in the studio window and said, hey, there's a cat in your building. And we have no idea how he got in. And so we ran down and got him. It was on my mom's birthday, actually, of last year. We've had him a year.
Isn't that wild?
And everybody just makes the joke, even the vets. Oh, he must have read his name above the door because the studio is Shadow Sound Studio. And this little cat's name is Shadow. And he was previously in somebody else's family. And we went through the whole adoption process, and the family was not interested in having him back, which just blows my mind. But I'm glad that we were able to give him such a great home. I've had cats my entire life, and I've had dogs too, but we're really a cat household. One of the reasons is we travel a little bit and we work late hours, and cats are independent enough that they don't freak out as much as dogs, or at least that's been our experience. If you, they want you to come home, but they're independent enough that they don't require being walked and stuff like
Yeah.
that.
Okay. I've had enough of you. Go to work, please.
Yeah. So
Get out of my house.
Exactly. Get out of their house. That's right. This little
Exactly.
cat has been the biggest blessing. He has got the sweetest spirit. He is a cuddle bug. He just loves to eat, and he has the most comforting presence. He just when he's ready for a snuggle, and he likes to snuggle 4 or 5 times a day, and he's really unusual in that regard. He'll come up, he'll snuggle next to you, he'll start purring, and he'll just lay down and he'll roll on his back and show you his tummy, and he loves a tummy rub. I've never known a cat that like to have their tummy rubbed. Most cats do
Yeah.
not want you to touch their tummy.
Yeah.
But he is.
That is, yeah, because
Isn't that
they'll do
weird?
it. And then within it, no, they do it. And then within a second, you get attacked. And then
Yeah.
it's like, and if you're depending on where you are on the tummy, you could be deboweled.
Yeah, no, it's true. But he comes up and wants tummy rubs, so he comes up for tummy rubs
Aw.
all the time.
I want to
He's
meet him.
amazing. He's amazing.
Well,
Everyone that meets him loves him. But anyway,
Nancy and I want to meet him, So
well,
we got it.
we're gonna make that happen because
Well, you need we want a shadow cat, a little stuffed cat.
well,
I'm
I'll tell you
just
what I've
thinking
done.
Stuckyverse merch,
Listen, I'm with you on that, because what I have done next year, I will be in this business 30 years, and I am planning some stuff for next year. But I've actually redone my logo and put him in it. And,
Oh my gosh, see, I dreamt of this.
I'm telling you, and he's walking on music staff, and the music staff has the opening notes to Take a Walk in the Shadows, one of my old tunes. So he's walking on it. We were doing it in black and white, and I liked that. It looked good, but he's more gray. So I've done a new version that's more gray, so that it looks a little bit more like him. I mean,
Oh,
it's just
that's a midday shadow. That's a midday shadow. And it can be extended too. You can be stretched a little at that point. Hey, this is so cool. Do you know how weird it is? Because, I was thinking of this. Yes, everybody, I do a lot of thinking when I go to sleep, and when I tell my brain to I train my brain. It sounds very weird. I do a lot when I go to sleep. And then when I shower, it's like meditation. Like,
oh, that's how I do all my meditation too.
okay, so see, Joey, this is so weird. I was just thinking today, wow, we're turning 30 in 27. So you're a year older than us.
Yeah.
Except for Nancy had the magazine in South Africa. So we always argue about she was like, no, I had it there. This is still my company. No, it's like, that's the thing but it's, it is hers. And she did start it,
Yeah.
Oh boy, she's sitting right here. Oh boy, I just got like
Did you get the look?
I did. I know you can't see her,
No.
but you know the look. You know it. I know you. No, Nancy. Yeah, she feels very good right now. So that's what a live day is all about, is being real and being cool.
Absolutely.
But I was thinking that, and I'm like, oh gosh, it's going to be 30 years of the magazine in this country, 20 years of podcasting. So I think we need to do like a end of year next year. An end of year start. We need to have a party together.
Yeah,
to sell it. Like, we need to do it at like midnight or something. Like, we have to do it. Yeah. Do you remember what month it is that you started?
Oh, I do. It was May.
We started in June.
Yeah.
Dude. Yeah. Wow. So we have to do something.
We will do something.
Anyway, we will.
And there will be acrobats and clowns.
Nancy and I used to be clowns, right?
I did not know that, but I'm not surprised.
We were clowns. And before we started the magazine, we did coloring books. Oh my God, I'm telling the story again like this week. It's weird. We made coloring books to raise money for the Helen Woodward Animal Center, which is now, it's so interesting. We pet sitters, we travel, and Trusted House Sitters, that's one of their biggest nonprofits they support. And then the people we're sitting for right now, their family in San Diego adopted animals from there. It's just it's weird, like how the world is small, y'all.
It's a lot.
But anyway, we did coloring books at the time, and to sell the coloring books to raise money for them, we got sponsors to pay for the printing by putting their ads, and it's like we did cool stuff. It was all these pictures of the community. And kids took their parents to the museum, literally, because there was like a wagon in there. And, it made it fun. And kids are the best nags on the planet. Really worked out good for everybody. But we were clowns. I learned how to do clown feet. Nancy did makeup. We did find out what it's like to go through a drive-through in clown gear. We also found out that there's all these rules for clowns. And then people, if you didn't obey the rules, you're in doo-doo. And then we found out that a lot of people are really scared of clowns, which made doing street fairs quite interesting and fun. Yeah. But anyway, so we'll do something fun. And yes, I'll be a clown. I'll do it. I'll do it. Nancy probably wants to do it more than me, but we'll do it. But I'm going back to your sponsors, because now we sponsors, just listen, we're going to have a big bash next year,
Absolutely.
So I think we need a live day. Could be, I don't know, something's happening, but Boyle's Custom Guitars. And you tell me if I'm not pronouncing anything right.
Exactly
I
right.
have my own language.
And that's Danny. His name's Danny, and he makes these custom guitars. And I've got I think I have about 7 of them, and they are absolutely fantastic. And he first started building guitars for me. The first one, I'm just trying to recall in my mind, the first guitar he built for me, I called the Shadowcaster, and it was a custom build, sort of a little bit modeled on a Stratocaster, but it was totally black, and it had, if you shine ultraviolet light on it, the rim kind of glows. So it looks really cool on stage, and it has 3 pickups in it and well, really 4 if you count the acoustic. Because what I was trying to do in 2018 and 2019, we were touring a lot. Right into 2020, right before the pandemic, our last show, which was the first show in 2020, was playing at the Whiskey a Go Go, and we were really taking off and doing what we need to do. But it's nice to have one guitar that you can take with you that can give you all the different sounds you need. And also, as a section player, if you're on the road, somebody says, "Hey, you want to do a section real quick or whatever," you got a guitar that has all the different sounds that you really need. So it was a very custom guitar, and I love his craftsmanship, and he's built so many guitars for me now. Like I said, I think I have 7 or 8 of them, and just bought another one this year. So he's fantastic, and I love supporting craftsmen like that, and I'm so glad that he's part of the Live Day. And lots of people have his guitars. In fact, I'll be playing one of his guitars the day of the show. That's the main acoustic guitar that I'll have. I'll have a backup guitar because you never know. You always have to have a backup guitar, and I always have 2 guitars wherever I go because you never know what's going to happen. If the battery goes dead or a string breaks or something happens, you want to have a second guitar ready to go. But yeah, I'm excited about it. His guitars sound good, they look good, they feel good, so they're the whole package.
Wow, this is cool. This is cool. I love to hear that. And we're going to have to do, we're going to do our gear show at some point. We've been talking about that for a long. This is great. Now, the cone company. Okay, so as soon as you say cones, I think about those orange and white, candy corn kind of cones in streets, and then how I've always wanted to play dodgems with them.
Yeah.
And I do play dodgems.
Or the movie Coneheads.
Yes. Or then, let's stick with that. Okay.
Yeah, this particular company does insurance for my parents' company, which is technically my company. I'm the heir to it, if you will. So Stuckey Management Services LLC. It does real estate and all kind of other things. And
hence the big old building, y'all. See?
Exactly. And so these guys do a lot of our insurance work, and they also, for people that haven't put on a festival before, you always need to have insurance for the day of the show.
You do.
And it to cover you and the venue and all this kind of stuff, to make in case something weird happens, somebody falls or something weird happens. Knock on wood, we haven't ever had any problems. But anyway, these wonderful people have always provided for a Live Day. They've always done the insurance. I've always got it through them. And this year they became a sponsor, which was really exciting and greatly appreciated.
Oh, that's super cool of them.
Yeah.
Now you've got Hopkins and Associates.
Yes, and they do accounting. And so they also are friends of mine and friends of Stuckey Management. And when I approached them and said, "Hey, I've got a really cool opportunity if you're interested in," I mean, what I love is that all these sponsors said yes immediately. They all understood the day and what it meant to be part of it. So I never had to do a hard sell.
That's really sweet of them. Well, but this is the thing. It's like in business, these are where the relationships are formed too. It's it's a give and take. It's, and I always think like when people want to get involved in a community, I'm like, go volunteer, go, be part of the Chamber of Commerce, but go volunteer at one of their events. And that's how you're going to get to know people. Absolutely. It's about doing and giving that you will start to form those bonds that you want in life, and you find the right people, because if you're doing something of service, you know what I mean? But it's, and don't do it just to, look good. It doesn't work that way. There's a true tie when someone, if they're not music related, they're like, no, I'm taking care of my client, my partners, colleagues, and understanding, I think, in the financial world and the insurance world, they understand that this is something for the community. And so it gives them great benefit. And the community knows, oh, they're invested in me. I did a show recently with a gentleman about, it's a whole other story, but it's about community banks in the financial world, and banks and banking for those who are often ignored because of being in the minority world. I hate that word. Hey, sorry, you don't get a loan because of your color of your skin, and we don't want you living in this neighborhood. Redlining is what it's called.
Sure. Yep.
Anyway, so this gentleman has been in it for over 30, 40 years, and laws are changing. A lot of laws are being pushed back to what we were doing in the 80s and it's this year. But anyway, so I talked to him about that. I said, well, what about the banking and actual, as You look at banks now, it's like, oh, you have a drive-through ATM, or go to your grocery store and pay $5 to use the ATM machine, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. And so it's all of these weird things. And I'm like, what happened to banks now? What's going to happen? What happens to, and he said the most important thing is community banks, and they really do reach out. He was talking about, like, go to your local credit union, your local bank. And because the other ones are pulling out a little bit now, we're seeing like basically online banking. You never go in and talk to your bank manager.
Yeah,
And
that's exactly right. That's the problem with some of these bigger banks, is that we have a good relationship with our bank, but a lot of these bigger banks have gotten where it's hard to get a real person to talk to. It's everything's online, and you just don't have that. Joey, I know you. I know that you're in the community, and I want to support your efforts. And you don't see that as much in lots of businesses. But the wonderful thing about our sponsors, and in particular our accounting sponsor and our insurance sponsor, they're all big music fans, and they in fact, Trisha from Cone came to our last Alive Day, and was there as a spectator and an audience member, and really had a good time. And so when I approached them about being a sponsor this year, they were really excited, and they already knew what it was, and so it was really exciting. And with our accounting sponsor, the lady that owns it is really fantastic and is a big music enthusiast too. And I was supposed to speak to her Rotary Club about the music business. And unfortunately, I injured my shoulder, and I'm still recovering from that. And I've had sort of a reduced workload for the past 3 months. And so I had to pull out, and I'm going to do it again. But anyway, the point is, she's a big music fan and loves music. And so it's exciting that all these people either directly have a tie to the industry or are huge fans of it. So that's really exciting. And all our sponsors have been really fantastic. And it's always nice when you email them and they send you their logo the first time.
I think
that's how you know they're excited. If they send you the logo the first time you ask for it, that's how you know.
Yeah, it's like, here it is. And then, I think that's fantastic, and I love, by the way, I just want to say, I love the Rotary clubs, because they've done so much around the world. It's Rotary. It's about being community, right?
Yeah.
And there's the 4 principles, and it was and I think you were on a show with us talking about this before. And I've learned, and I want to actually work more with Rotary in a other project that we're doing doing now, but will be on the ground next year in certain areas. But they have this 4-way test, and how we learned about, we document parks and public lands. And there's this beautiful, I think it's Cherokee Lake Park off the top of my head, Thomasville, Georgia. So not far from you, right? Well, I don't think it's far, but it is kind of far.
I think it's like 2 hours?
Yeah, it's not far. Yeah, we were able to go from there down to the swamps in Florida. And before that, we were in the swamps of Georgia and Okefenokee swamps. By the way, you have one of the best swamps in the world. And I just want to give a big shout out to Georgia for doing some really good things of saving the Okefenokee swamp. Can I do that on the show since you're from Georgia? People came together. I've signed so many petitions for this, but people from around the world and throughout Georgia stood up to save the swamp, the Okefenokee swamp, one of the most biodiverse swamplands and marshlands in the world, and forest land. And people stood up to save it from actually being used for energy and all kinds of other things. So shout out to that. Anyway, it was a little girl in Africa who'd seen all the wild animals, right? And been on African safaris as part of her lifestyle. This was my bucket list to go coming home to the States, just so you know. And it was just one of the most amazing things. But anyway, Thomasville, Georgia, which is where they have this giant oak tree, one of the biggest live oak trees and oldest live oak trees, and is home to where nature's own bread is baked and made. Huh. Yeah, that's
I think it's nature's own. I think that's right.
It's nature's own bread. I'm going to look it up.
I'm like 85% sure.
Yes, it's nature's own bread. That's
I'm 100%.
And when we're in this park, this little train, this teeny little cargo train goes over on this teeny little track between the factory and the shop with the bread. No, it's super cool. Anyway, we're walking around. There's ducks and there's people. And there's our old rose garden. Anyway, Thomas, I'm sorry, but I do love your state, Georgia. Okay.
That's great.
I don't know if you can tell. Anyway, while we're there was a new ramada put up, or gazebo, or whatever every place calls it, a little shelter or whatever, to sit out in the sun, get out of the sun and maybe have a picnic and whatever. And the Rotary had funded that, and they had this plaque with the 4-way test. So the 4 things are: number 1, is it the truth? 2, is it fair to all concerned? 3, will it build goodwill and better friendships? And 4, will it be beneficial to all concerned? I sat there going, okay, I want to live in this little place. This is cool.
It's fantastic.
Doesn't that go with a Live Day?
It does. That's exactly right. It's that kind of spirit that we're talking about. And there's so many different ways to bring that spirit into fruition and to make it known. And the Live Days are our way. But that is fantastic. I love that 4-way test.
I know. So the Rotary Club, go back and speak. And I want to go do a whole bunch because of some of the tourism we work. We look at tourism as about building community when it's done correctly. And
Absolutely.
I think Macon is one of those places that the downtown, you have a true Main Street downtown, and music is part of that. And I love what you're doing. You are bringing people there, even the musicians that are performing there. 3 girls are coming in from out of town. I know Tom Rule.
Yes,
Rule.
Tom.
You have to get him out of the Waffle House to get to perform.
He'll be pleased that you remembered that. Yes, and Tom couldn't join us today because he and his wife are on a long overdue vacation. So they are having he just retired from his job as the IT director over at one of the local high schools, and he's finally taking a little bit of a break and getting some good family time in, which we certainly approve of. But yeah, Tom, Tom has, except for during the pandemic when we did something on Facebook, he has played every Alive Day that there's been in some form or other. And I asked him this year, I was like, man, you going to play this year? He's like, well, I don't know. I have to make sure I'm free. I was like, Tom, you have to just make it. You just have to make it where it works, because I don't want to do this without you. He's one of my oldest and dearest friends. He's an incredible talent, and he really is, a gifted piano player. We've recently, I won't say unearthed, but we've recently had time, thanks to having some of the interns that I have 2 interns this year, both from SCAD, which is the Savannah College of Art and Design. And because I was able to sort of shove a little bit more work onto them, because, they're interns, you got to make them suffer. No, but you have to, I mean, I do expect them to sort of be thrown in the pool and swim. I think that's the best way to learn. I would never set somebody up for failure. So I would never ask them to do something, A, I've not done myself, or B, that I thought they were not capable of doing.
Exactly.
But within those parameters, I feel like interns should be worked hard while they're young, and then get that experience and then go back with a whole new perspective. So anyway, because of their assistance, I was able to dig into some of my old recordings. We did, now I can't remember if it was 2018 or 2019, but in one of those years, I got the band together for a weekend, and we recorded an entire jazz album of, I think 14 songs. I've been able to get those together and brush them off and actually finish 5 of them, so that those 5 are now ready to be released. I've still got the rest to do. I have to mix them and master them and all that kind of stuff. And occasionally there'll be something that I want to redo. Like I'll say, we played a piano on this. We played the grand piano, but really it'd probably be better if we used a B3 or we used a Rhodes. So I have Tom come back in and play something on that or add to it. But at any rate, my whole point is he's such a gifted musician, and it's been such a pleasure to rediscover some of the magic he made on my record and some of the incredible things he did, several years back now. So it's always a pleasure to rediscover, your friend's talent. So I'm excited that he'll be there. I'm not sure what he's going to play. I imagine he'll play mostly selections from his albums that are available. But I don't get involved in the set list. It's up to the artist. But he's our first act at 6:00. Doors are at 5:30, so like give everybody time to find a seat, find the bathroom, do all those things you have to do. And then Tom starts at 6, and it will be on at 7, and it's me and my buddy Charles who is playing percussion. Everything's acoustic this year.
Yeah, so it's stripped down and chilled. Nice.
It's just me it's guitar, vocal, and percussion. And the percussion is like a cajon and a snare and some cymbals and some shakers, and it's going to be a lot of fun. And then, of course, you've got Caroline Aiken, Diane Durrett, and Liz Melendez coming at the end and really rounding it out with a big show. So we're really excited about it.
Well, everyone, the Spotify playlist is linked in the episode notes. And also just go to joeystuckey.com and you'll find it there. And I'll put all those links in the episode notes. But I'm going to go back and finish up these sponsors. Wesley.
Oh, sorry about this.
Yeah. No. It's good to break this up. We got this going. Wesley Audio. Is that like?
They are doing our sound. Yep. They're running a live sound this year. As I say, the venue's a smaller venue. It's about 150 seater capacity. And so, but it's a really beautiful space for acoustic music. But they have a small PA system in the venue, but it wasn't really sufficient for what I wanted. So I've got these wonderful friends to come out, and Glenn is the main man there who's coming out to run the audio and bring the speaker system and the lights and just make sure that all that's up to stuff. We don't need tons of power or tons of wattage, but it's a little bit smaller space, so you don't really need tons of speakers, but we just want to make sure everything's real clear. And the most important thing is I wasn't worried so much about the audience, but I was worried about the stage, making sure we had good monitors on stage. That's really important, because if we can't hear, we can't give you a good show. So that was really important, and I was so excited. And I should say that he has done our sound for many of the Alive Day festivals, and he's a first-time sponsor this year, but he's done its sound for many of the Alive Day festivals. I know the first 2 for sure, and then some of them, once we've done some stuff in some theaters and stuff that already had a dedicated live sound man and a PA system, so we didn't need him then. But anyway, we need him now, and we're so glad that he's part of it.
Well, I love that too, and you and I touched on monitors, I don't know how many shows ago or years ago, but
yeah.
The whole
it all
thing,
runs together.
You and I are on the same team of not wanting things poked in our ears as monitors.
Yeah. I just, I'm going to admit that I'm probably wrong.
Oh my God.
The fact is, I'm probably wrong about not going to in-ear monitors because everybody's doing it. And then obviously, there's clearly a reason to do that.
Yeah.
It wasn't great, but it's because one of the big complaints when it first started was then you couldn't hear any stage sound. It was hard to blend, all this kind of stuff. But it has gotten to a very sophisticated level. But that being said, I can't see and I can't smell. And I'm down 2 senses, and my entire livelihood depends on my ears and my hands. And I just do not feel comfortable taking a chance of sticking a monitor in my ear and having something weird happen, having that 1 in a million thing happen, and my ear get blown up. And so the way that we do it, and we admit that we're a bunch of old fogies doing it this way, but the way we do it is the whole band wears earplugs that are designed for musicians. They're custom molded, and they fit everybody's ear, specifically. And we all use floor monitors and wear earplugs. So we protect our hearing, and we have floor monitors, and we don't do the in-ears. And we actually tested our bass player years ago, back in 2019 or whatever it was, 2020, something like that. We had some in-ear monitors, and I said, well, I don't want to use these things, but we had some. He said, I'll take a chance and play in them and see how it goes. The interesting thing was that even though they were decent, I mean, they weren't like, there are in-ear monitors that cost, $3,000 or $4,000 for a headset. These were, $300. These were $300 sort of in-ears. So they were decent. But not the highest brand, highest price you could pay. But anyway, he put them in, and he said that they were a little uncomfortable. But the biggest problem was we all felt, and he felt the same way, that we weren't blending. While he could hear really well, we weren't blending as well because we weren't all using the same, acoustic environment. So, it did make him feel a little isolated from us because, a lot of the magic that happens on stage, yes, there's hearing. And for those people that can see, there's seeing cues and stuff like that. But there is some spiritual force that transmits itself around the musicians and between the audience and the musicians. And anything that interrupts that is bad. So we felt like it interrupted that connection. And we couldn't define exactly what the connection was. We just knew that we somehow were not quite all in the same space.
Didn't feel right.
It didn't feel
Yeah.
right. So anyway,
Yeah.
but like I say, I'm probably wrong and probably just got old and set in my ways, but that's how it is.
Yeah. You on that. I am, because to me, what goes on your ears, like just even in podcasting, right? Do you know who has the biggest problems?
Who has the
Anybody putting AirPods in their ears, AirPods, or and anytime it's Bluetooth. I go, you Bluetoothing? Like, I want everything hardwired, even a mic. I don't like mics set on. I want the cord for the mic. I'm weird and old. Okay. I want the cord. There's something about even holding the cord that calms me down. Everything, when you don't, sometimes for singers, you need something to just kind of balance yourself, and it's just holding that cord where you're not shaking because I shake from nerves and energy. It's very weird, like not bad. It's not like, oh my gosh, what, she's having a spasm or something. It's just excitement, it's passion, vibration. And so holding a cord, it reminds me of being on a horse, like holding the reins. And so it's this calm thing. And then they take it away. And then I'm like, no. Then I end up holding the mic with both hands. And then I'm off balance, because that's kind of odd. And it's the only way to balance yourself. One doesn't, and I'm not doing like the, Jennifer Lopez dancing everywhere with everything. No, that doesn't work for me. I always perform barefoot. I'm that weird because of the energy of feeling grounded. I have to feel grounded.
Well, Amy Grant performs barefoot as well. So
there's a lot of musicians who do that.
Yeah.
It's a grounding thing, because I get vertigo in places.
If you were dancing like Janet Jackson or J-Lo, or if you were dancing around the stage and had all that choreography and all those lights and everything. I could understand the wireless if
yeah.
You'd have to do it. You wouldn't have a choice.
No, but I would have a wardrobe malfunction just from bending over to go there. But okay, the final sponsor I want to bring up, Glass Onion PR. And
yes.
So, it's so...
We got connected.
That's how we got connected with, rest in peace, or don't rest in peace, rest in music, Billy James.
Yeah.
Billy... he had his own music, he had his own band.
Oh, yeah.
He's written books. You can see him on reels.
Person. Just a stellar human being.
Genuine human being.
Yeah.
And I told you that one show we did, and we dedicated it to him.
Yeah.
I was like, when he says, Lisa, I really think you need to do this. You need to meet Joey. He's one of the most incredible people and kind. And he sent me this whole thing about you. I'm like, dude, I can tell from the press release and the music, no, you must, kind of thing, very sweet and kind about you. And I was like, this is cool, and then going from there. Yeah. So he's moved on to the upper world. He's floating somewhere happily, probably. I'm sure he's hanging out with Frank Zappa.
Sure.
Do you think? Yeah, I do.
Why not?
I mean, he was a Zappa head, he really.
If Zappa made it to heaven, we'll see.
but PR people, I deal with a lot of PR people, and I'm also incredibly picky about PR people. And
you got to.
And it's almost like the ones that I do work, I love to the moon and back. Yeah. There's ones that like instigate immediate annoyance, unfortunately, and I don't mean that to be mean. It's just some people are on autopilot and there's no relationship. Just like what we were talking about earlier, building that relationship. And Billy had a relationship. It was just this hello, hello, hello. There was just just different working with him. But now his son is taken over, right?
That's right, Keith. And I was really excited. I reached out to Keith and said, hey, I don't know if you know who I am, but, I've been a big a big fan of your dad's work for a long time, and we've worked together for many, 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 many years. And I just wondered if you guys wanted to be part of a live day, because Glass Onion has always been part of a live day from the very first one, and they've always been a sponsor. I just wanted to check in. And he was like, he said, and his email back was really sweet, and it said something to the effect that, I was just wondering how you were doing. Actually, it's funny you reached out, and I'd love to participate again. And I can tell you that we've had several TV stations, one in Memphis, one in Alabama, and several others that I can't remember off the top of my head, pick up the press release, because Glass Onion PR does a press release like nobody else does a press release.
Mm-hmm.
And so, there are lots of places that are really too far away probably for people to travel, but that taken an interest, and it's because of Glass Onion's fine work that we're getting that international recognition, and have since the festival started. We've always had really good, coverage PR wise, and I really appreciate it.
That's awesome. They've done such a good job over the years, but it's so genuine. It's just not this automated stuff where they also, I have PR companies send me the same press release literally 2 to 3 times a day.
Oh dear.
And it's very difficult because we travel, and it's in the thousands of emails all the time. And so, a good PR person who develops a relationship, and it's not like you have to sit on the phone and talk all the time. It's just this way of working together, and trust is a big deal.
Huge deal.
And Billy just had some of the best people, and I knew he took care of his people. And then when they did the interviews, and I could tell from that, I work with a company, Books Forward PR, and we've been working with them since we opened, and they're 25 years this year, and they come from a nonprofit background. Julie Shirky, who's the founder, and she's the founder and still in it, but she's, lets her team do what they're great at, and they're fantastic. And they take on projects that people will shy away from, and they lead with kindness, and everything they do is kindness and inclusivity, celebrating diversity. You know what I mean? All of that good stuff.
Oh yeah.
And we've worked together for years, because every time I know someone's coming on a show, I already know that they're good people. And it's the same way with Billy, and that's how we met you. And so I just love this whole full circle moment, and I love that his son has continued on the Billy James Glass Onion, because that's so cool, right?
Great.
It's onion with a Y, y'all. But if you're a musician and you're doing a new album, they understand music over there. They understand musicians. They understand musicians. And that's the difference. I know even when they do a music interview, as soon as if you start an interview, and I can tell that a musician, a lot of musicians don't want to do the PR stuff, right? They just know they have to, and it's a drag, or nervous, more of the writer person. I don't want to be in the spotlight, but I know I have to do this, and nerves. As soon as I talk about, I had a band or whatever, not anywhere as good as any of this stuff that you do, but as soon as they knew they calm down, and we have a better conversation, more relaxed, real, because then they understand. And that's the same with what Billy did. So I got to give a shout out to him.
Yeah.
So everyone, October, that's coming up. So Joey Stuckey Alive Day is always September 29th. So he gets to party 3 times: his birthday, live day, and then the actual concert itself is October 4th, right? So everyone go to, from 6 to 9 p.m. And at 9 p.m. you can all go to bed.
Whatever makes
yeah. I like that. Oh, I can't wait to come back east. Just talking to you on the phone, I'm ready. We're getting ready to travel across the country again, so I'm excited. Everyone, joeystuckey.com is the link. I'll put the link for the Spotify playlist. And thank you to all the sponsors who make these things happen. We need more of this in the world, and I think this is one of those bright, sunshiny days that you're going to have at this, in this wonderful new facility, and new facility for this year, I should say. But celebrating Joey, and everyone celebrating being alive through no matter what happens, Thank you, Joey.
Thank you, my friend.
Thank you for listening to Big Blend Radio. Keep up with our shows at bigblendradio.com.